Good evening. Welcome along to the show. Good to have your company with us once again. Now, my first guest tonight is currently celebrating over 50 years in show business. He's one half of the Irish music legends Foster and Allen. Tony Allen joins us in just a second, but here are those legends themselves. Here are Foster and Allen.
I can only say the pleasure has been mine. For at least I got to know you for a time. But now you're gone, I don't know what I'll do. There's a blue moon over my world without you.
That, of course, is the legendary Foster and Allen, celebrating 50 years in the business and still out on the road, touring all over the place. And I'm pleased to say that Tony Allen joins us now. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. How are you? It's hard to believe you're 21 years here.
21 years doing this, yeah.
It's
Exactly.
hard to believe we're 50 years here.
50 years. Has the time flown in, has it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like 50 years at all. No.
But you guys have had one hell of a journey.
We had, it was a great trip. I have to admit, we're still on the road and we've never had an argument or a row or anything like that.
Really?
Yes. I think that's more of a record than 50 years.
So how did the two of you meet then?
Well, I'm from Westmeath, right in the centre of Ireland, down near Athlone, and Mick came to live in Mullingar when he was 12, and there was a band quite near to me called the Marylanders. They were just a local three fellas playing in the hall at the weekends, and he joined that band,
Right,
and I knew the boys, and I used to be in seeing them, and that's the first time I met Mick. Then I joined the band, and Mick went off on his own for a few years. He was a resident in a pub in Mullingar, and back in 72, I think 73, he came back to work with the band I was in again, and he kept on to me about leaving the band and going as a two-piece. He had seen the Alexander Brothers from Scotland, and he said Ireland should have an Irish version. So eventually, anyway, he persuaded me to go. In 75, we started out as Foster and Allen, and we've been there ever since.
Yes, you started in London, didn't you?
We did, yeah. Well, we were on tour in London with this band, and things weren't good. And a friend of ours was opening a pub, Pat Callan. He was opening a pub at Kilburn Tube Station. And we had been playing in his place, and he said to Mick, would you stay back and play in the pub for a week, the two of you? And we said, yeah, why not? So we had a great week, and we actually came home with money in our pockets after a week. And that, I think, was the deciding factor, big time.
Now, when the airplay started for you, it was people like the late, great Terry Wogan who were big supporters.
Terry was great, and Laurie Honeyford and Eamon. They were all great to us because, Terry started playing us on his radio show, which had I think he had 12 or 14 million listeners at the time, And he used to play it a bunch of time, all the time. And Laurie would play it in her show. And the next thing then, we were with Ritz Records in London. And the next thing we got a call to say, our management to say that it had charted. Yeah. Because the Furies had been in the charts the year before with Sweet 16. It had charted, and if it went any higher, we might be on top of the pops, Wow. So we got a call, we were in New York on tour, and got a call that it had gone in number 18 in the charts, so that was Top of the Pops. So we flew home. Mick had never seen Top of the Pops. Not alone beyond it. He never didn't know what it was. And I was a big fan of Top of the Pops. Because when I was going to school, the two shows you had to see was the Monkees and Top of the Pops.
Of course,
So it was brilliant to get there. We flew over from New York to Dublin, and from Dublin on to London, and went in and recorded Top of the Pops. Yeah, it was great. The Boomtown Rats were on the same night.
Oh, so there was an Irish connection.
Oh, there was Dexys Midnight Runners, more Irish connection. Yeah. Adam and the Ants, the Goombay Dance Band were number one.
Wow, 7 Tears.
7 Tears.
There you go. Yeah. Wow. So that was a bunch of time you did Top of the Pops.
Bunch of time.
Obviously, when Maggie came out then as well, you went back to do Top of the Pops.
Maggie came out. Well, we did Old Flames and Maggie that year, and no, we didn't. They showed a picture of the single, but we didn't appear.
Right.
That
Yes. Yeah.
But we did the record company in Australia picked up on Maggie. Yeah. And they released it out there. I went to number one in the Australian charts and the New Zealand charts. Yeah. It's amazing.
That was like the song that put you worldwide.
I did, yeah. That was a huge hit, yeah.
I mean, you look back on it now, it probably paved the way for other up-and-coming Irish artists.
I did, I'd say, yeah. Daniel Down will always said that us being in Australia and touring the Furies made way for him, which he still tours Australia,
But even bands like the Corrs,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
the Pogues
yeah.
have even
yeah.
cited you guys as an
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah, well, you know, all of that adds up. You know, I think it's an Irish attitude more than you know. People say about you look at the U2 and all those people, they have a will to work.
Yeah.
And nothing gets between them and the charts, and I think that's the Irish thing. You know.
And didn't Shane MacGowan come to see you guys when he was younger?
He did when he was very young, about 12 or 14. We used to play in Tipperary, where his mum and dad were from.
Yeah.
And he'd be over on holidays as a young lad, like 14 or 15, and they'd bring him down to the pub where we were playing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met him a few times after, you know, but he was a very talented man, you know. A woeful man, you know. He was great. Very funny, but I think that's the other thing about the Irish, that carry a bit of wit with them.
Exactly, yes, yeah. And then you guys have always been supportive of the younger up-and-coming artists as well. You did stuff with Shane Ward. I've seen the video of that. Was, Nathan Carter.
Nathan, and Derek Ryan, yeah, it's great because the like of Shane, apparently when Shane won X Factor, I knew Louis from the old days, the 60s. He says, every time I get into Shane's car, he says he's playing your CDs.
Really?
Us and the Furies. He loves the Irish stuff, yeah.
Wow.
And he rang me one day then about his mum was having a birthday party and would I come over and sing? And as it happened, I couldn't get over, you know. Then a while after, I rang him back and said, would you be interested in doing a song with us? Because I'd heard the Galway Girl and I said to Mick, if we're doing that, we need to do something a bit different, you know?
Yeah.
So he says, yeah, I'd love it. So and he was perfect for the song, you know.
Wow.
He's a serious voice. You
Yeah.
know? So we keep in touch all the time.
And what about life on the road? You're obviously still enjoying it.
I love it. Yeah, Mick doesn't like traveling that
okay.
much. I always claim I should have been in a circus, you know. Pack up tonight and move on to somewhere else tomorrow. But we started at Christmas and worked at the end of April in Ireland. Yeah. And then we took the rest of the year off. Now we do the same thing. We start next Christmas and work the end of April. But we're going back to England and the end of next year for a bit of a tour. But we did something this year now which was, to me, was very interesting. There was a young chap in Manchester. He's autistic. He can't, Martin Finn is his name. He can't talk. He can't communicate at all, but he can sing.
Oh, okay.
Most amazing. He learned any song.
Really?
Any song you give him, he'll learn it. So we did a song called Flying Without Wings. We did that last year with him, you know. And it got a huge response on all the TV shows because we did a video with them, you know, in the UK. And now Myra, Mick's wife, she's our keyboard player, and she's after writing the song from the point of view of a young person with autism. And
wow.
It's very, very good. So we've that almost ready.
Do you ever get fed up singing some of the songs? You know, do you ever stand there and think, not again tonight, Maggie, not again tonight, not again?
No, because we have a sort of an unwritten law, Mick and I. If the record company come up with a song that neither of us or one of us doesn't like, we just say, no, we'll try that. We can't do it. It's not working, you know. So anything we ever recorded was something we really wanted to sing, you know.
Yes, yeah.
So you don't ever get fed up.
Brilliant.
When songs are that good, you're not going to get fed up with them anyway.
Exactly. I'm asking all the musicians this, when the life on the road, is there anything that you cannot live without? What do you have to take with you?
Your mobile phone.
Well, of course, yeah.
Everything is on my mobile phone.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I can live without a razor.
Of course, yes.
Bubble bath may be very important. No, you need, there's a few things you need on the road, and you need a room to yourself every night on the road.
Yeah.
You cannot be sharing with other people.
No.
And even if you never go to bed, it means it's there if you want to go, you know.
Yes, yeah.
That was one thing from the first day with the lads in the play with us. No matter where we've been, to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, England, we always insisted that everybody had their own room.
Yes. Yeah.
And that gives everyone a break then at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Then the new year will come and you're back out on the road. Grand Opera House here in Belfast on the 19th. What an amazing venue,
Best
isn't it?
gig in the world.
Really, yeah.
Oh, no, shut of it out,
yeah.
Always has been.
So, Grand Opera House, 19th of January, the Sleeve Russell Hotel in Ballyconnell, 26th of January, and then in March, you're in the Marketplace in Armagh, the Bernavon in Cookstown, and the Ardone Theatre in Enniskillen. That's the 18th, 19th and 26th of March. So, keep him busy.
We keep as busy as we can, you know, do a bit of recording in out between and get a bit of sleep and things like that.
Brilliant. Well, as always, good to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you.
And congratulations on over 50 years in the business.
I hope we're back in another 21 years.
Let's hope so. Thank you.
God bless you.
In 1975 the journey did begin,
with songs about the blacksmith and the rambles of spring.
Later came the bunch of time and made our dreams come true,
when we topped the pops in England back in 1982.
40 years upon the stage, oh how the time has flown, with our good friends around us, we never walked alone. You've always been our guiding light
in everything we do. I'm Foster
and I'm Mallow,
and we owe it all to you.
I will love you all my life, a song dear to our hearts.
New Zealand and Australia called when Maggie topped the charts.
They loved our songs in Canada and in the USA.
South Africa holds memories we cherish to this day.
40 years upon the stage, oh how the time has flown, with our good friends around us, we never walked alone. You've always been our guiding light
in everything we do. I'm Foster
and I'm Mallow,
and we owe it all to you.
So looking forward to seeing Foster and Alan back out on tour, and that's a song called We Owe It All to You. Right, Kim Kelly is out and about on her travels this week. Let's see what she's up to. Kim, where are you today?
Today I want to talk to you about the Action Cancer Breast of Friends campaign, and I've got somebody who's become a very good friend of mine. It's Jacqueline Rooney. Now, Jacqueline Rooney is an artist, and she's somebody who I've met through my work many times. This lady is so talented. She's a designer and she's an artist, and she has a very charmed life. Yes. And then Jacqueline discovered that she had cancer, and her life obviously changed completely. So Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming along and talking about this. You're now an Action Cancer Ambassador, but let's take it back a little bit and tell us about your work as an artist.
Thank you very much, Kim. Yes, I'm very proud to be here today to share my story with you and lead you through where it all began. So I've been an artist for many years and full-time artist now for almost 10 years.
Yes.
Owned a gallery in Rostrevor in County Down and then moved to Belfast. The entire family and the gallery moved to Belfast, and we're going to be opening our new gallery now in the Ormer Road on the 1st of November, very excitedly. My work is very much vibrant and atmospheric and colourful, and it's all about celebrating joy and celebrating hope. And yes, as you say, last year I had a bit of a shock that kind of turned it all on its head a little bit for me.
Yes, because you're somebody that, you know, we would have met, obviously. I was probably handing you out an award or something. And this lady, honestly, she wins awards, everything. And then you would post on social media and it was all very positive. You know, you had the perfect life, I guess. You had that perfect life. And then all of a sudden, you announced that you had breast cancer. Tell us about that.
So I was at my nurse last June 24 and I was just in for a routine appointment for something else, and she just happened in passing to say, Kim, you know, you're between 40 and 49, you can go and have a mammogram with Action Cancer. And I said, no, I didn't realise that. So I rang my sister that very day and we said, you know, we should try and book an appointment.
Let's
make a day of it. Let's go to Belfast, let's have lunch, go shopping, it'll be lovely. And so the first appointment we could get was the 30th of August, and we went that day, had a lovely day, shopping on the Lisburn Road afterwards.
Perfect.
French Village for lunch, all of it was lovely. And then a few weeks later, my sister Paula, who came with me, received her letter to say she was, you know, everything, the results were good, and I didn't receive my letter.
Right.
And then a few days later, I received a letter that I wasn't expecting.
What did the letter say?
The letter said that they had to recall me for further testing. So got an appointment in the Ulster Independent clinic within 2 weeks.
Right.
And that night I went up for my appointment. They did core biopsy, ultrasound, all of that. They had the mammogram images there. And I just knew that night, it was the 17th of October last year, I just knew by the surgeon's response to me and what he was saying and how he was saying it. He said, look, we can't say definitely for another week. We'll call you back and I'll have your results. But at the moment, we have to just make sure, you know, he said, what I will say to you is it's small If it's something, it's been caught on time and very treatable. So those words were the words I left that day with.
And how did you feel?
I rang my sister in tears and I said, I knew, I did know. You know the way your gut sort of tells you? Yeah, I did. So came back the following week and my husband came with me, Scott came with me, and they sat us down and told me, yes, it is breast cancer. It's 2 centimetres, stage 2, very treatable. We're going to do a lumpectomy and a sentinel node biopsy to make sure it's not spread, and we will get you into surgery in a couple of weeks.
And did you have to have chemotherapy or radiotherapy?
So the results showed that they actually found some cancer in one of the 2 lymph nodes they removed, which was a bit unsettling for me. And they debated chemotherapy, radiotherapy or hormone therapy. So what they decided to go for was 15 rounds of radiotherapy, no chemotherapy, but I've to take an injection once a month for 5 to 10 years and then daily tablets as well. So again, it's not as harsh on your body as the chemo would be, but it's still treating and curing and preventing recurrence. But I was very lucky. I got to ring the bell at the end, and that was emotional, Kim.
Ringing the bell is always emotional, isn't it? So you were given you're never really given the all clear, but you were given the all clear for that moment. So then you decided to turn your hand to being an ambassador.
Yes, I was very proud to be asked to be an ambassador because from the very beginning, from the initial diagnosis, because I'm on social media every single day with my business, with my art, and I'm always about positivity, I decided I would share the journey with my followers because also to help others going through it, but then also helping me because the people that reached out were just so amazing and so supportive, and so like other people telling me they were a wee bit further ahead in their journey and how they were coping and vice versa. So we built up this lovely community of people who were just building each other up and getting each other through it, as it were. So I decided then when I shared that very openly the whole story, then I think Action Cancer thought, I would be
You'd be a good ambassador because you have quite a lot of social media contacts, and also because you are a really good case study in that you're just a normal woman who's living a very nice life, and then all of a sudden everything was turned upside down. And where can we find out more information about this? It will be on the Action Cancer website, yes?
Absolutely, the Action Cancer website and in their headquarters in Belfast as well. And what they did say was to make sure I share that appointments open on a Wednesday afternoon. So, if you're trying to book your mammogram, make sure if it says it's fully booked, try it on a Wednesday afternoon, and that's when they release the new appointment.
For sure, right, okay, that's a really good tip. And also follow yourself on social media.
Yes.
Jacqueline's got lovely social media. She's always sharing all her successes, which is wonderful. And she's a very bright and cheery person. Jacqueline, thank you so much for sharing your journey with breast cancer, and let's hope that helps people out there today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Right, my final guest on the show tonight has interviewed some of the biggest names in show business. He was also part of one of the biggest TV documentaries of the year. Did you watch the Boyzone documentary? Of course you did. And he's currently working on a brand new one all about TV presenter Caroline Flack. I'm pleased to say that Mr. Showbiz Paul Martin is with us in the studio. How are you, sir?
Great, back again.
So let's talk about the Boyzone documentary because that dropped at the start of the year. People are still talking about it. And obviously you did plenty of Boyzone stories over the years, so that's why you were one of the 2 journalists invited onto this show.
I contributed to it quite heavily. I helped them develop the whole thing as well, and it was interesting to see how the 3 parts came. I knew it was going to be big. I didn't think it would be as big as it is. It's actually the most watched documentary in Sky TV history now, which was incredible to hear. And I think, having all of that laid bare, the band against each other, what was really going on in the press, everybody's just going in and being honest. Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Honest. I mean, I always say I do my most honest interviews on this show.
Well, you do, exactly.
And I get into my most trouble being on this show. But listen, it's better to be honest. And you're looking back at different periods in life. The tabloid industry was carnage and testosterone-driven madness and mayhem. You know this, and Boyzone couldn't have done that without the Louis Walsh element. I mean, he was very honest, probably.
Well, that's the thing I want to talk to you about, Louis Walsh, because people are still saying Louis didn't come across well on the show. And I'm saying to them, but you know what? Did Louis do his job as a manager? Did he make them millionaires?
Yep.
Yes, he did. Did he make them famous? Yes, he did. Did he give them #1 records? Yes, he did. Did he make them the biggest boy band in Ireland? Yes, he did.
He absolutely did. And I was surprised that the pub. No, I'm not. I mean, I think it came across a bit unsavoury. but you know, completely honest when he said, you know, they got the front page. Back then, that's what it was all about.
Yes, yeah.
And I think he looked a bit maybe flippant and belligerent about, you know, things that the band were now saying really hurt them and tormented them and did damage in the past. But I think they are the first ones to recognise, you know, as somebody said to me recently, it's all in the cut, in the editor's cut. And in a way that's true, in a way it's not. You still say what you say.
Yes,
but I think looking back on it, I have spoken to Louis a couple of times.
Yeah.
He doesn't blame me for it all, just most of it. Here's the question. Will they invite him to the big gig in London at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal's ground, for this big stadium concert they're doing?
Yeah.
I think the classy thing and the right thing should be absolutely, and obviously to bring me on stage and thank me in person.
Yes.
But at least
we both should be there.
Well, I mean, we should be on stage, Robin.
You know, we've both done the Boyzone journey since 1994. You know,
we were the 6th and 7th members of the band respectively at certain times. But in all seriousness, I think, you know, it'd be interesting to see if Louis will go, or if he'd be invited, or if you'd even want to see them. I know that him and Ronan, I don't think that's going to be better anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible thing to be part of. I have to tell you now, what's incredible to me is how many people attach their emotions to it now.
Yeah,
like it's almost brought me back to the Mirror days.
Yeah.
You know, when I was, you know, running in and doing tabloid showbiz, and how ruthless that was, and it brought me, and how that business worked. It was cutthroat. But listen, it couldn't have been. I will say one thing about Louis. He couldn't have been that bad a manager, because people forget this. After Boyzone, he had Westlife, who he's still manager of, who were huge.
Yeah.
None of them would say that he was you know, he abused them or used them.
Yeah.
You know, he also had a couple of other bands that didn't do so well, and he did all right for himself. An X Factor with Simon Cowell, one of the nicest people in showbiz, but he doesn't take any prisoners.
Yeah.
And he was on the X Factor for 10 years, so he couldn't have been that bad a person. And I know for a fact that he isn't.
Yes.
In fact, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah. Wow. Looking back over your journalism career, are there any stories you regretted doing?
My answer would never have been the Jerry Ryan's Bins story, and then the Prince Harry trial came up, of course, when they played me the interview with you about 4 years ago, when I was in this very studio, albeit not as slick, talking about going through Jerry Ryan's Bins and subsequently sitting in the High Court, testifying as the only journalist who testified at the Prince Harry trial, by the way, on behalf of the Mirror. Not because I had to, because I hadn't been, you know, I hadn't phone hacked, but because the Mirror wanted to show that they had sources who legitimately got their stories, which I did. But that didn't matter, of course. What mattered was Jerry Ryan's Bins, and to have your entire interview played right from this studio for 15 minutes at the Royal Trial of the Century.
What a surprise!
I have to say was so. Probably I regret that, Robin. I don't regret doing it. I regret talking about it to you.
But Jerry Ryan was a friend of yours as well. Yes.
He was. And all this stuff had been thrown out, you know.
So do you still not think that you betrayed him by when he passed away, going through his private belongings?
No, because you have to, you see, people forget what happened at the time, and I'm not going to get ultra defensive about this, because I understand if people want to say and feel that, because that was a terrible thing to do, they're more than entitled to do that. But actually at that time, you know, I'm in Dublin for the whole 3 weeks. Jerry Ryan's just died. He was on the phone to me 2 nights before he died, giving me the exclusive that he got the Late Late Show.
Yeah.
You know, so I knew and I know Jerry Ryan. He used to read my front pages out every day. He loved all of that kind of stuff. And at the time, there was the massive story. It was every single day, particularly in the Southern Irish press, which I thought was hugely unfair, which was that his new love of his life, who had been with him for 2 years in a full-on relationship, hadn't been invited to the funeral, and his ex-wife was running the ship. And it was really, and there was a real, particularly in the broadsheets, a real, you know, I think very condescending and dismissive daily front page movement about his current partner at the time, who was very good to him and had been basically a massive, you know, injection of life to him and a great solace for him as well when things weren't going well. And she was being completely marginalised. I was writing columns saying, you know, she should be there, and even if she's not, we know that she was the one who, you know, who was with Jerry and gave him true happiness the last 2 years. She'd be completely discarded. So when we found this stuff, which was essentially dumped out, I don't know by who, but it didn't look like it was thrown out by her. I'm not going to say we didn't have anything, you know, it wasn't great for us.
Yeah.
Of course it was. But the things that we printed were like loving cards between each other that had just been dumped. This woman didn't even exist, and it was his funeral.
Yeah,
as far as the Irish press concerned, they were ready to just banish her. And I thought there was a great injustice of that. And I thought, you know, and so it was done in a way with right intention, you know. Did I think this is a massive story and we've got really brilliant stuff here? Yes. But actually, it was in the spirit of the time. It was actually probably right that somebody did something, say this woman exists, and here's how much they were in love, and we'll show you. You know, it wasn't anything that crossed the line in that regard. But I think looking back now, some people felt it crossed the line in terms of like what the ethics of journalism are, and that's something that's been under the microscope ever since the Harry trial.
Let's talk about somebody else who was treated pretty badly by the press, and that is Caroline Flack.
Yeah.
And you're involved in a new documentary. So how and why did all this come about?
This is something that I wasn't expected to be involved in, and it had already started filming about 2 months before I was asked to appear in it. And it's going to be really big. It's going to be, if you thought Boyzone was kind of, divisive in people's reactions and quite controversial and, insightful of many people's emotions, this is going to be even bigger than that. And it's Caroline Flack. It's her mum, Christine, has gone on a mission, I suppose I would say, to find out the truth about what happened to her daughter in her final weeks of her life. And obviously the Caroline story remains one of the greatest tragedies, I guess, of the modern era of like showbiz, from being primetime TV presenter to everything going wrong very quickly. The assault charges and the tabloids and the broadsheets going essentially judge, jury, execution on her before any facts. The famous picture on the front page of The Sun of the bloodbath in her bedroom, which I can't say too much, but was not all as it seemed. There's a lot of skeletons there, and her mother has gone through a lot. And I was contacted and saying, listen, would you be willing to, because we've contacted 30 journalists, I think it was 30 journalists, and none of them, not one, has agreed to sit down with this woman, or even us, independently of her mum, and talk about what was going on at the time. Now, I was reasonably good, pretty good friends with Caroline for a while, and any stories I'd done on her were positive and with her blessing, but I was well aware of the fact that at a certain point, the fame became so huge, and then once the allegations broke that she had assaulted her partner, and she was dropped instantly, from Love Island, and everything. She was cancelled essentially, but not cancelled. The worst kind of cancelling. We're going to write about you all the time, but we don't need you anymore because we can't touch you anymore. So it's going to write all the filth, all the damaging articles, and it came thick and fast. And I had to sort of revisit that period and look back at what was going on and what she was going through, and it was horrific. So I have sat down, and I have spoken. I also came and spent a few hours with her mother at the end of it, and it was very. I hope she found, in a way, cathartic to get answers about what was going on in the newsrooms, what kind of calls were being made, and what kind of lust almost there was for stories. And I'd given a total honest. She had so many questions for me, and I couldn't answer them all, but I could tell her the way that it worked, and certainly what I understood from that, which was, again, we're talking about, the pre-Harry trial, savage press mentality and what it was like to be in that. And I'd given her honest answers, and we had a really great chat. It was like communal therapy, and I think it's two parts. It was meant to be one. It's 2 parts. It's going to be dropped globally on Disney+.
Now, it's not going to be one of these shows where every celebrity who wants to get their face on TV is going to pop up and talk nonsense during it, is it?
It's a really good question, because actually it's the complete opposite of that. They couldn't. Her friends have not appeared in this. There's been a lot of press coverage about this already. If anybody wants to go and Google Caroline Flack documentary now, they'll see Hollywood Reporter, LA Times. It's gone all over the world. Daily Mail did a very unsavory article about it. They're very anti it, so watch out for that. But they're entitled to do that. There's been a lot, and I think this is why I came aboard, saying that even her closest friends won't do it because they know that they feel or are worried that they'll look bad. But I think her mum deserves answers more than we deserve not to look bad. Right? And I did my best to help her with that. And I will say this, it was intense, it was very honest, and you're not going to see any celebrities turning up on this because they're all too scared. It's the real deal.
Wow. Okay, we look forward to that. Is there going to be a Mr. Showbiz documentary one day, looking back over your 20 plus
I don't
years?
know. I think you could just piece together every interview I've done on this show about anything to do with anything I've been doing. So the good ones for the last like 6 years, and all the confessions came out through you.
Yeah.
So just piece that all together. I can't do any better than you've done.
Let's
It's
do
all been there.
We've got it. Anyway, we're out of time. Thank you so much
Great
for
to see
coming
you again.
in, and as always, being so open and honest with us.
Always, Robin.
Thank you, Mr. Showbiz Paul Martin. That's all we have time for on the show this week. We'll see you back here same time next week. Night, night.